Hi, my name is Daphne, and we are in the garden today after about a week of absolutely doing nothing to the garden outside of the occasional watering and harvesting some produce because, as mentioned, we are still almost at the tail end of squash season. So I'm sitting here now in between two still actively thriving white patty pan squash plants. And so we have tons of squash in various stages of development, like this one, like a little jack-o'-lantern, like a little pumpkin. It's so cute. So we have bunches of like white patty pan squashes, which I will always grow. It actually vines out, which is amazing because it roots in certain places, so the plant's a little healthier even if it gets attacked by the vine borer. Also, the squash is delicious, sauteed. You can bake it however you do it. I even have snuck it in spaghetti and it was hardly noticeable to the kid because he refuses to eat squash. So really, really great thing. I will be growing this next year. Although I will be limiting some of my squash. I planted, I think, 10 plants, and that's about 7 plants too many for a family that doesn't really eat squash. So definitely will be growing this again. But I'm actually sitting between 2 patty pan squash, which actually will be pulled today. Even though they're actively still producing and they're not so much healthy anymore. I do believe they both have vine borers in them. All of the plants are in some stage of dying because of vine borer infestation, but they're still going strong. It's just we don't need any more squash and no one else wants any more squash. So like it's getting to the point now where I need to to purge the summer garden in preparation for the fall garden. So I do have some cabbage that is in desperate need of getting in the ground. So I'm going to pull these lovely squash plants, take all the remaining squash off, freeze it, blanch it, freeze it, put it in the freezer for winter soups, which is what I've been doing to like 90% of the squash I've harvested. So we'll be doing that. And then, yeah, the spaces will be refertilized with some kitchen scraps, and then I will just plop in the cabbage, spray it down with some BT, and just throw up some bug netting over it, call it a day. So we'll be doing that. Most of the squash will be pulled today. Some of the sickly tomato plants or some of the plants that didn't produce anything, we will be pulling those up too. So today, towards the mid-end of August, is actually the first of probably several garden cleanouts, just to make some space. And I hope your gardens are doing well as well, but I know a lot of people are doing a garden cleanout, maybe replanting for fall. I'm not necessarily doing that, but to each his own. But all right. Follow me and we can just, take a look at the beautiful garden and all of its bounty and beauty while we do a little bit of harvesting and a little bit of clean out. These are gorgeous. I still don't know what type of tomato this is. She's healthy though. Growing in a 5-gallon bucket. And this pole bean plant, doing amazing. I just came out and harvested some beans and there's still more to harvest. Literally every 2 days like clockwork, I'm harvesting more beans. Then we do have our figs here, and I didn't think this huge thing was actually going to grow this year. I just thought it was, growing up, and then maybe next year we'll get some food, but it actually looks like we have a fig. And I kind of wonder if maybe the birds or the squirrels, probably a squirrel is actually taking some of them off, because I would think that all of these branches would actually have some figs on them, and I'm not seeing that many. I'm actually wondering if maybe the squirrels are kind of eating some of them. Like that branch there only has like one growing. And they were prolific last year when the figs got of size. Then I just saw like varying states of like unripened figs all over the place. So I don't quite know how to protect this tree now that it's gotten so huge, but there are definitely figs on it. Then all of the elderberries for the most part. There's one more left here, but I might actually save it for, actually, I'll take this. So we've harvested all of the elderberries. The ones that are still remaining will actually just be left for the birds. And then this tree is actually going to get pruned like crazy in the fall. So some of these lower branches are going to be pruned. I do want to leave some of the new growth because I know the elderberry doesn't have a very long life expectancy with the original plants. But for the most part, we've harvested most of the berries. Me and the common greckles have finished a lot of it off. But we do have some more to be soaked and frozen. But all of these are basically edible. I'm surprised the birds actually left this for me. Look at that. No, I need a different basket for the elderberries. And then raspberry, blackberry, strawberry season is coming to a close, but we actually do have some more strawberries in here. The slugs have not, you know, if you don't harvest them in time, the slugs will get to them, but we do have some strawberries that are ripening. And some new flowers setting too. That's pretty incredible. Stay up on watering this section, but it does look like it's waning. Yeah, these cherry tomatoes kind of need to be trellised up, but we do have very healthy clusters of cherry tomatoes here, sun sugar cherry tomatoes, and we do have some that are actually ripening. Probably will be ready tomorrow. I like to save them for my son. He comes out here and just picks them. Although it is interesting, some of them are actually ripening red. And this isn't a red ripening like these. These are actually turning bright red. I wonder if they're hybrid seeds. But some of them, yeah, some of them are orange, the traditional orange color. And will ripen to a very deep orange. And then some of them are literally ripening red here. Beauties. I thought I'd find it another color, but apparently all of these plants are red, and the cardinals are just destroying my flowers. I mean, they kind of just behead them, and then they kind of decapitate them, and they'll eat the seeds. But oh well. Look at that. Here's some of the cinnamon basil. Then we do have some Cherokee purples over here, which are of good size. Might be the only tomato plant over here that's actually healthy. This bed actually needs to be fertilized, but it definitely needs to not have so much stuff planted in it. So next year there will be no squash in this bed and no kale. It'll just literally be a tomato bed or maybe eggplant. Look how huge these babies are. Can we take a moment to appreciate these beautiful marigolds? And some saved seeds that I better get to before the birds eat them. And then this bed, we do still have honey nut squash, but the plant actually is slowly starting to die. Although I want to keep it on there as long as I can, but because there's two squash that are actually maturing still. I did dump some BT directly into the ground soil. But I do think this plant is dying, and I don't want to pull it because I know these honey nut squash they're not ready yet to be harvested. What happens if you take them prematurely is that they start hemorrhaging liquid through this base part, and then like it'll go bad. So these won't be storage ready for at least another couple of weeks. But I don't know how long this plant's gonna last. Look at these orange zinnias. Aren't they beautiful? They're absolutely gorgeous. This might be an every year plant. You are beautiful. And we take a moment to appreciate Asparagus Island here. I mean, God. I mean, look at this one. And I've harvested some bigger than these, and they were still really tender when cooked. Next year, I will be topping these plants. I actually do want them a little thicker, and I want them to like actually produce more okra, and I'll plant less. So instead of just like reaching for the stars, I would prefer for them to have multiple lobes in one plant, and that helps if you top them. But we do have some more here. It's a huge one here. There's another one here. And look how tall this plant is. It's absolutely beautiful. We have a ton of okra to harvest, maybe 5 or 6, but these are huge. This is so big it just snaps right off. Now typically you want to use shears so you don't actually like harm your plant, but this one actually seems perfectly fine. So this one's still kind of a little too small. This one's actually perfect. If I leave it, it'll be huge tomorrow. This one's ready. I'll tell you about okras that they're kind of sharp. Look at that. Four okra today, probably gonna be 4 more tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. We're getting a lot of okra. And we have our, what do you call this? Golden seal. It kind of seems like a waste of a bed just because for these smaller plants, but golden seal takes a very long time to grow. Very slow growing plant. Very slow growing plant. But it's the root you want. And it does, every single year it actually comes up stronger and stronger. And it's slowly spreading in that direction, so I don't want to put anything else in here. But, and these are the little berries here. I don't want to put anything else in here. But it does seem like a complete waste of a bed just for one little plant. But it's later in the season for these. Look like little tree stars, don't they? I mean, look at this. And then we just have a bunch of just various assortments of stuff. Borage that needs to be pulled. We have some suffering tomato plants here. Really healthy vineweed. This plant is actually has given me our first zucchini, but I actually don't see any more on here. Well, I see maybe 1 or 2 more. Debating about whether or not I want to keep it, just because I don't really need any more squash. This whole area though was kind of sickly. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Maybe this bed does need to be fertilized. Like this plant gave 1 huge tomato. I think it's a Dr. Witchy's. The Dr. Witchy's all kind of suffered this year. Doesn't have anything else. So I might just like snip the plant at the top and just kind of leave that one to ripen on the vine a little. And then this is another Dr. Witchy's plant. But the tomatoes haven't really been healthy on this plant. So this one's actually going to get pulled today. As well as maybe this marigold as well. And then we do have this smaller little plant here that's a honey nut squash, but the squash are kind of small. There is one that's doing pretty well, but looks like something took a little chip out of it. This bed is actually doing quite well. These tomatoes need to kind of be staked up, so I'll try to do that. I mean, huge tomatoes over here. This one is, what is this? Cherokee purple. And there is one in the back that actually needs to be harvested. This is Amish paste. Look at that, it's freaking huge. Some more Amish paste here. I think that's a San Marzano, the sickly ones in the back. This plant is actually doing pretty well. This plant actually needs to be trimmed a little. And then we have some acorn squash in this one, a patty pan white squash in this one, but I think this plant might be coming out soon. Yeah, that was just way too much planted. And then all the way in the back there, there's a huge patty pan from this plant. All the way in the back right there. That one is like literally the size of my hand, but I think this plant might need to come out as well. And then this one is a mess. It needs to kind of be staked up, I think. I think these might be San Marzano, just from the look at the bottom. It's not the healthiest plant though, but it does have some tomatoes on it. I think primarily they just kind of need to be watered. Yeah, it is definitely time to do a clean out. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this beautiful garden tour and garden harvest. We've harvested so many things today. I mean, pole beans and okra, huge okra. That specific variety of okra that I grew, which I'll put here, I'll put below because I actually can't remember. But it is prolific, and no matter how big those things get, they're still soft and edible. We'll always grow that type of okra, but I might also mix it in with the burgundy red okra because it's just beautiful, so why not? But yesterday I harvested a ton of okra, ton of squash, tons of pole beans and tomatoes and peppers. It's been beautiful. And now I have a ton of processing to do as well, so maybe that'll be for later videos. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great and wonderful day. Peace.